All right, let's talk about the world of real estate. We're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar market. And right now, two of its biggest giants are locked in a legal war that could seriously change how we all buy and sell our homes. You've got the massive search portal on one side and the country's largest brokerage on the other. So let's unpack this legal showdown and see how it could reshape the entire real estate game. And this whole massive, complicated conflict? It really boils down to one single, incredibly powerful question. Who gets to control the digital real estate marketplace? The answer is going to have huge ripple effects for sellers, for buyers, and, yeah, for the entire industry. So let's get to know our two main players. In this corner, you've got Zillow, the search portal. You know them. It's the first place millions of us go when we're even thinking about looking for a new place. And in the other corner, you have Compass, the brokerage. They're the biggest firm in the country, the ones with all the agents on the ground actually making the sales happen. Totally different roles, but believe me, they're on a direct collision course right now.
And make no mistake, this isn't just some friendly business rivalry. Oh no, this is a full-blown legal battle. We're talking serious antitrust allegations. The laws meant to stop monopolies and keep things fair. We're talking claims of a secret conspiracy and a major fight over the future of how houses are even marketed online. So what on earth started this war? Well, it all comes down to one single really controversial policy change from Zillow. And it was a policy aimed squarely at a super popular marketing strategy used by Compass. To get this, you gotta understand what private listings are. Just think of it like a VIP sneak peek. A brokerage like Compass will market a home to its own network of agents and clients for a little while before it ever hits the big public database, the MLS. It gives them an exclusive window, a little head start. Now, Compass has this down to a science. They call it their three-phased marketing strategy, or 3PM for short. It kicks off as a coming soon listing just within their network. Then it moves to a private exclusive where only a select few get to see it. And only then, after all that, does it finally become a public listing for the rest of us. It's their way of building buzz and setting themselves apart. And this is the spark that lit the whole fire. Zillow rolled out new rules that basically said, hey, if you market a home privately first, using a strategy just like Compass's, then you can't list it on our huge public platform. Zillow's message was pretty clear. You can't have it both ways. Well, as you can imagine, things escalated fast. Zillow announced the policy in April, started enforcing it in June, and by November, just a few months later, both companies were in court making their final arguments in a hearing for a preliminary injunction. That's basically Compass begging the judge to stop Zillow's new rule while the bigger lawsuit gets sorted out. Okay, so let's dig into Compass's side of the argument. They frame this whole thing as a battle between choice, which they say they represent, and control, which is what they accuse Zillow of trying to grab. And wow, just listen to the words Compass's lawyers are using. I mean, they're not messing around. They are flat out accusing Zillow of trying to protect a monopoly by using collusion, rules, threats, penalties, and bans. This is some bare-knuckle stuff, for sure. So their whole case really boils down to a few key claims. They're saying Zillow is trying to control the entire industry, not just what happens on its own website. They claim Zillow is conspiring with another big player, Redfin, to basically boycott Compass. And they say this is causing what they call irreparable harm to their business. Now, that conspiracy claim is the most explosive one by far. And Compass says the proof, the smoking gun, all hinges on one single event, a phone call between the CEOs of two competing companies. Here's the play-by-play, at least according to Compass. On April 9th, Zillow's CEO calls Redfin's CEO. No lawyers on the line, no notes being taken. During this call, the CEO of Redfin is supposedly thrilled about Zillow's new policy and says he'd likely do the same. And what happens next? Redfin announces its own very similar policy. For Compass, that sequence of events is all the proof they need of a conspiracy. But of course, there are always two sides to a story. Zillow paints a completely different picture. They argue this isn't about control at all. It's about making sure the marketplace is fair, open, and transparent for you, the consumer. And Zillow's lawyer just flips the whole thing on its head. He argues that what Compass is really asking for is a court order that would force Zillow to subsidize its competitor's business strategy. They're saying Compass wants to use its private marketing to get an edge, but then also get the benefits of Zillow's giant public audience for free. And you can see Zillow's point-by-point takedown of Compass's main claims right here.
Compass says irreparable harm. Zillow says, you're having your best financial quarter ever. Compass says conspiracy. Zillow says there is zero proof of an agreement. This is just normal competition. Compass says market control. Zillow says show us the proof of market-wide harm like rising prices. You can't.
And as for that big phone call with Redfin, Zillow's defense is that it actually proves there wasn't a conspiracy because Redfin didn't just copy them. They say Redfin took a kind of middle ground approach, and in Zillow's eyes, that proves it was just a competitive move, not some secret backroom deal.
Then Zillow gets into the real legal weeds about what it means to be a monopoly. They argue that to have market power, you have to be able to do things like jack up prices or lower the quality of service for everybody, and they claim there is absolutely zero evidence that their new policy has done either of those things. So what you have are two completely different stories. And at the end of the day, it's up to a judge to figure it all out. And you know what? During the hearing, she gave everyone a little peek into what she might be thinking. And this is fascinating. The judge herself pushed back pretty hard on Compass's conspiracy theory, asking this super direct question. By asking this, she's basically showing her skepticism, hinting that this might just look like normal competition to her, not some shady deal. So it's really important to remember, this hearing isn't the end of the war. It's not even close. It's just the first major battle. The judge's decision on whether or not to temporarily block Zillow's policy is going to set the tone and the momentum for the much, much bigger fight that's still to come. And that leaves us with the big final question. This case is about so much more than just Zillow and Compass. It's about a huge tension in our modern economy. In a world where these massive online platforms have become the new public square, who gets to write the rules? Is it the platform that built the marketplace in the first place, or is it the players who use that marketplace to do business? The answer to that is still being written.